Evening and welcome to One Take. I am Monica May. Tonight, I have the pleasure of having Jasmine Burney-Clark, and she's the principal consultant for Social Solutions Group. It's a Florida-based civic engagement firm. And right now, she's working with the Florida Counts Census 2020 initiative. And she is giving us some real backstory information tonight. The census is only something we do every 20 years, but for some reason, we, meaning Black people, seem to not trust the system. We are always underrepresented, meaning we're not counted in this. We're losing billions of dollars. So welcome, Jasmine. Thank you so much for taking a moment to just share the importance of the census, how we still have time to get involved in it. And let's talk about them billions of dollars, girl.
Yes, thank you so much for having me tonight. I really, really appreciate it. And one small correction, it is done every 10 years, so folks don't want to skip it.
I don't know. What did I say? Every 10? I didn't say every 10.
It's okay. It's okay.
But that is something that I think that we as a people, and Jasmine, you gave your backstory, and you can share that again. We weren't really shown the importance of that every 10-year count. And we took it as something. I remember when I was working for a radio station here, myself and one of my coworkers, we went door to door, reminding people the importance of it. So let's talk about the census that we do every 10 years.
Yes. So every 10 years, we receive a postcard, a document in the mail that tells us it is time for you to be counted. And this count is so important because it determines the amount of resources that your state will receive from the federal government over the course of the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you miss your count, you are only going to be subjected to the resources that that community has for the folks that were actually counted. As of today, 60.9% of our state nation has been counted. That's based on self-response rates.
Okay.
Florida, however, is at 58.3%, and Orange County is at 59.4%. So we're teetering close to the national average, but one thing to recognize about these numbers is that this month, we actually were expected to wrap up our 2020 census count. We actually weren't. This month. Had COVID not taken place, this is the month we would have been wrapping up operations in the state. We would have been now focusing really on the folks that are hard to count, that we can't access, either because they're, moving quite frequently or they're in other communities, language barriers, things of that nature. But it has been extended to October 31st. So we've got a little time to actually do better than our 2010 numbers.
Okay, so we'll have to have you back on, I would say, the beginning of, or mid-September,
sure,
or maybe 1st of October, so that we can make sure to remind people the importance of this. We have to be able to talk about the civic responsibility that we as American citizens face. This is our duty, just as important as voting. I was telling Jazz that, typically we think of just taxes and death as the two most important things, but there really are four. And of course, your taxes are in there, but your census and your voting, they are up there at the top of the level. That's the only way we're going to get money when we're talking about, you and I talked about the defunding of police departments that people are talking about right now. But the census can bring in the money that is needed to add the extra initiatives that we've been talking about when we're mentioning the need for more policing or a different way to engage our communities as far as policing goes.
Correct. Philanthropy actually did a study on the amount of money that they give out every single year in the state of Florida. Florida had a ton of emissions in 2010 that resulted in nearly a $20 billion loss in federal to the state. Actually, Orange County ranks number one in the number of emissions in the 2020 census among large counties in the 2010 count, which means that we are not counting folks. Folks are not self-responding, or they're not responding to people who are coming to their homes. And so what philanthropy determined was the amount of money that they are giving out to the community nearly resulted in the same amount of money that they could have received from the 2020 census community organizations had they actually filled out that form. So what community groups are doing is not filling in the gaps, but instead helping to stabilize an economy, and that's not their purpose. That's not what they exist. We should actually be counting ourselves in order to get the funds allocated for the resources we need.
So one of the things that it sounds like, Jasmine, that's so important is to get the word out. And we talked about the advertising for this is just, it's not there. Right. And a lot of that is coming from Tallahassee.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that.
We have, in 2000, the state of Florida allocated $2 million to get out the count activity in Florida. They did the same thing in 2010. 2020, $0 have been allocated to get out the count in the state of Florida. We have a governor who has gone on record to say that he feels the federal government is responsible for counting Floridians, not his job. He also chose not to hear any bills from legislators about how to get a complete count committee set up. Instead, he rushed a complete count committee together over the course of the Christmas break this past winter. They've met twice so far this year. The most recent meeting lasted a total of 15 minutes and provided no real solutions, no real help, no funding allocations. So this isn't a top priority for them. This isn't something that they deeply care about. But what's also tied to this are 2 new congressional seats in the state of Florida that lean towards maybe affiliations they don't agree with or ethnic backgrounds that they may not also be interested in or affiliated with.
So then, okay, now I get it. I see what that is. If we can block this, we'll take care of that. And then there's no, redlining. That's definitely what this is sounding like. So plan of action from here could be for us to get you or in your committee on every television station here or in the newspaper here, in our local ones. What would you say from a rate of Latino, African American, and Anglo, which rate does not respond to the census the most?
Yep, well, that's a great question. I would say that it's a combination of all 3, but when we think about hard to count communities, we typically focus on individuals in lower socioeconomic communities. We think about folks who are experiencing homelessness, differently abled individuals, people with language barriers, and a huge one that really troubled folks last year was the fact that we were possibly going to have a question about citizenship on the 2020 census. That question is not there, so it's not a factor, but the safety and security of your information and will someone come to your home after you've actually responded and harass you about your response or harass you about your citizenship. It is actually unlawful for any individual who works at the census to contact you or any individual who gets access to that information to contact you about your census response.
So then education is key.
Correct.
Education about the reason for this. Marcus McCoy is on and he says much needed education and dialogue. Census participation is vital. Thank you very much, Marcus, for that comment. Do we need to go into community centers? Do we need to go to churches? I remember when I lived in Houston and worked so much with the homeless population there, we allowed them to use our address as their own to receive mail, to participate in the census. And that way we were able to get counted the people who you wouldn't just arbitrarily go looking in the woods for. But we made it known throughout our population of homeless that we served there that they could do that. It is imperative, everybody, and I'm speaking to everybody now. I don't care what your age is. You got to be at least 18, right? To fill out the census?
You need to at least have a home that you live in and be responsible for either signing yourself up or the folks in your home. So there is no age limit. Everyone has to get counted from 0 to 101.
Is it still, I'm sorry, is it still April 1st as the residents living in the home at that time? Because if a baby's born April 2nd, they say that they have to wait until the next 10 years later.
Nope. If you have a child that is born this year, that child needs to be, or is expected to be born this year, that child needs to be counted. Um,
Okay.
yep. So everyone
Okay.
in the home, even if you're not related and you're renting a room or
Mhm.
with relatives temporarily until you determine what your housing situation is, you are also supposed to be counted. The online form allows for you to at least fill out the form for up to 99 people in a household.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So there's no excuse.
If you are just joining us, thank you very much for stopping by One Take. I am Monica May. Jasmine Burney-Clark is the principal consultant for Social Solutions Group. She does what other people sometimes don't take the time to do. She gets down, she does the research, she does things that are voter educated related. And this time around, it's census related educated. We've talked about the fact that Florida, through omission, has missed out on billions of dollars, and we stand the chance to miss out on billions and billions now if we are not seriously taking the fact that we have ownership in that one simple form. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to fill it out, less than 3 minutes to fill it out. The information in there is not digging into anything Social Security related. Nothing is going to change if you are getting WIC, if you are receiving anything that is social service related. This will not stop that. In fact, it could mean that you could get even more down the line because we know that there's a need. We cannot fund what we don't know that you need. And that sometimes when I say to some of the families that I deal with the T, I don't know what you need until you open your mouth and speak to me. So this is your way of speaking and being counted. It says a lot of elder people are not computer knowledgeable. So a paper census needs to be an option. Thank you very much, Stephanie Dixon Daniels, for joining us tonight. Can you respond to that?
Absolutely. So there are three ways that you can actually fill out the census. The first way is online, and of course, that's the way that they want most of the census forms to come in. The second way is by phone. You can call using the postcard you received in the mail, providing them with the ID. In the event that you did not receive a postcard, there is still a number you can contact to be able to reach the census hotline and still fill out your form to be counted, or a census taker will come to your door. Now that we are in a place where we understand a little bit more about COVID-19 and what is required to do person-to-person contact, census centers are opening up across the nation.
Okay,
People
that's
are
good.
coming to homes, and there are facilities you can go to. So there's going to be more of an aggressive push than we've seen, which was actually supposed to launch in April. We're going to see more of it. So there are communities that are going to get more of a deeper touch than we've been seeing so far.
We mentioned that the census typically is done completed by April this year. Because of COVID, we have until October 31st. But that doesn't mean you should wait until the very last minute. Do you possibly have that number, Jazz?
I don't have it in front of me. I'm so sorry, but you can go
That's
to
okay.
census.gov,
Say that again.
2020census.gov.
Okay.
On there is where you can fill out the census. There's the online, there's the hotline for you to call there as well. So,
Okay.
that.
We'll make sure to get that information posted because Ms. Daniels' question or her comment was, yeah, we hear you, we see you. Some other things that the census can provide for communities. We know about policing, we
Mhm.
know about elder opportunities, but does it work for what's the gravy from it?
The gravy is if you're a business owner. Imagine being able to open up a business and knowing who's in the neighborhood, how many children you can anticipate, how many adults, what the income is, so you can determine what your market value is to bring your business to that community. The other thing is looking for homes. What type of community do you want to reside in? What are some of the things that you're looking for as it relates to home ownership? So those are some of the really great things I think folks can expect when you're looking at 2020 census data, but also the benefits of having programs fully funded.
So we've also put up the information. You can visit 2020census.gov for more information. You can actually fill out the census right there. There is a phone number if you have any questions. Again, Jasmine Burney-Clark is the Social Solutions Group, LLC, the principal consultant for that. So you're doing the census. Are you going to be working voting as well?
Absolutely. Voting, civic engagement work is my passion. It will always be my passion. I am also the founder of Equal Ground Education and Action Fund. That is a 501c3 and C4. It is a project of social solutions. So we are working right now to register voters across the state, turn them out ahead of both our general and primary election. And we're also planning to invest nearly $1 million in programs along the I-4 corridor. So we take it very seriously. Elections are here and upon us, and decisions have to be made.
Elections are your business. The census is your business. Being civically engaged is what she does. And thank you so much for just sharing some more information, and expect a call from me, like I said, mid-September or early October, because October 31st is our deadline. That's our drop dead now to get out Census 2020. We have Kristen Fulwiley coming up next week. She's going to talk about the importance of voting and being civically engaged that way. We appreciate you so much, Jasmine. For the rebroadcast of this, you can go to my newly updated website. It's monicamaycommunications.com. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for taking a moment to share information about the census with us tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I love the space you've created for folks. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.